So the thing that I cannot for the life of me understand is that 3 months later, you went back. It was your father's birthday, granted.
Yeah.
But even still, how were you even able to get on the plane? Why did you go back? It's just 3 months.
So I'll tell you an interesting story. A lot of your listeners won't know about this. Since I worked for the airline for 10 years, I might have gone through security a dozen times in 10 years. When you work for the airline, you've got a get-out-of-jail-free card. I really thought strongly about smuggling a gun onto the airplane and hunting these guys in their own country. They wouldn't expect that. And I could have easily done that. Nobody ever checks you. But by the same token, I had just gotten out of a situation where a big fear for mine was Venezuelan jail. Why don't I want to put myself in the situation again? It was kind of one of those, I just got to let it go.
You're like a tough guy. You're going to take a gun.
Well, yeah, I was scared. So I went back for my dad's 50th birthday, and everything was good going through the airport, although I had my head on a swivel. I was looking for them.
Scared?
Yes. The thing is, I made my transfer. So I didn't have to get out of the airport. Typically, the flight gets in. You've got enough time to transfer to the Portlamore flight. No problem. I made my transfer, so I didn't have to go back out into the city. That was very good for my psyche.
So you go to this island. Are you relaxed while you're visiting? What you are?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I mean, let's put this into perspective. Portlamore is pretty much adjacent to Aruba. Now, think about Aruba, okay? My dad lived there, so I had free room and free board. I flew down there for free. So I had spent a lot of time down there. Well, why not? Why wouldn't you? You get a free place to stay on a resort island?
I'll have to take your word for it because I don't think I would ever go back. I'd make him visit me.
Fair enough.
So you get meningitis in Venezuela. You don't know how you don't know how. And the thing is that you had been out drinking, so you think you're hungover or whatever. You actually go home. It's interesting because you have meningitis. You get on this plane. In retrospect, that was probably a pretty dangerous thing to do for all you know. You infected other people.
It's funny because they actually went back and looked at the passenger log of the airplane. I say funny, not funny at all, but I didn't know I had meningitis. I thought I was just really hungover. I mean, my dad and I, we party together, and he's a drinker. So we were really hungover, and it wasn't surprising that I felt that way after hanging out with my dad.
So when you get back to the U.S., you finally go to the hospital, and the doctor tells you that you almost died, like your timing was just right.
Well, I was hallucinating at home, and I was going between cold and hot flashes. There was periods I'd be sweating and periods I'd be freezing, so I didn't really know what was going on. I knew I was sick. I knew it wasn't a hangover at that point. And I almost took a nap. I mean, I was so tired and lethargic, but I thought, you know what? I need to get up. I need to go to the hospital. I can sleep in the hospital. So I actually went to a doctor, and he suggested I go to the hospital immediately. Went to the hospital. They checked me in about 20 minutes and got me back there, and a few hours later, after a few spinal taps and several bags of saline, they told me that I was, hours away from death had I not come in.
Wow. Steve, when you found out that you had meningitis and that you almost died, did you wonder, why on earth is this happening to me? I just was kidnapped. What's up?
Interestingly enough, I didn't wonder why is this happening to me. What I wondered was, what have I done with my life for the last 3 months?
Really?
I've been doing all the smelling the roses, and I haven't done anything. I've been worthless. I have accomplished nothing. Great. People know how I feel about them. People know that if I have some feelings towards them, I'm going to express it and get closure as much as I can, because I never know when it's going to happen. But by the same token, really, what have I done?
So these are defining moments for
Very
you.
much.
What changes?
I became very driven. I realized how little time we have. And so I went back to school. I took 7 classes a semester, finished my degree off in 3 years, worked 2 jobs while I was doing it. And now I'm very driven, very laser focused. It's easy for me now to pick a focus and pick a goal and do everything I can to attain it. I'm just so driven because tomorrow I might not wake up. Well, what have I accomplished? Well, at least if I've accomplished my goals up to that point, I know I've accomplished something.
So in a way, is this the silver lining for you that you were able?
Very much.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Shaped my life more than any other event in my life, that's for certain.
So it's interesting too, because it's 7 years later, and you still, over time, a lot of times the lessons we learn can fade, but it sounds like just the opposite.
Yeah, two very exciting and intense events 3 months apart. It was really a wake-up call, all the wake-up call I needed, that's for sure.
Are you happy with your life now?
Yep, very much. I've got 2 beautiful kids and a loving wife, and I've got a fantastic job. Love my job, love my boss. Aside from my sprained ankle, life couldn't be better.
Well, great. Steve, thank you so much for coming on Interviews.